Greetings from a field somewhere in the United Kingdom. If I was doing some reading yesterday, here's a hack for you. A lot of spiritual gurus, if you think about it. I was reading a book by Lao Tzu called The Way, or an interpretation of The Way, which is basically 80 poems on life. And Lao Tzu is a bit like Confucius, so he's a mystic, he's a Chinese philosopher, if you like, for want of a better noun. And it occurred to me that, Jesus Christ, if you believe in Jesus Christ, went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. Basically went camping. Most Buddhists, most highly spiritual gurus, most people who are self-aware, who perhaps do a lot of thinking, they go into nature. They spend time on their own, and they basically absorb the light, the ground, the probably the hormones, the endorphins, the dopamines. You're sitting here, and you're able to process things a lot easier than being inside. Just being outside, I can hear the birds. It's a huge sense of peace and calm. And I just think the easiest hack in the world when you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, get outside, go and sit in a field. It's free. Do it every day, and thoughts will come to you if you give them some time. Give yourself some space. Lie down, listen to some music, tune out, and let the universe provide some answers. It's truly beautiful to have that mindset where, when you're feeling overwhelmed, go for a walk, sit down. Just realise that this is a state of impermanence, i.e., nothing is permanent. We're here for a short time. You're going to die. And the worries that you have will pass, generally speaking. And it's life, right? We're all here in this little big planet, this big little planet. We're all doing our thing, walking around, walking the dog, going for coffee, going to the shops, watching TV. And the day will pass. The day will pass tomorrow. We'll go to work, we'll try and earn more money, we'll get worried about finances and pensions, and we'll have arguments with our spouses, and we'll have worries about things, and then they go, and then you'll survive, and then it's the next one. And that is life. That's what makes up life, this ever-changing sense of drama and events and going to work and processing and eating and sleeping. And if you don't give yourself some time to get out of that loop on your own, you'll never grow. I don't know anything else I can say that I'm more convinced of. Spend time on your own. Don't be afraid of it. Don't distract yourself with people in the pub. Or do that, right? It's fine. But distracting yourself with constant stimulation and tech and constant busyness is just running away from the reality of who you are and what you don't want to face up to. There's nothing that you can't resolve, really, by spending time on your own and letting it come to you. And that's what people seem to be so afraid of, is their own mental chatter, their own thoughts. Being on your own, this idea of loneliness and, you're a failure if you're on your own. And it really does drive a lot of people's decisions around how they socialise, the relationships they're in, where they live, how they spend the holidays. How many people do you know that get married, have kids, and then suddenly start going on holiday with loads of friends? It's just this constant need to be stimulated in other people's company. And that's fine, right? That's fine. But if you don't do the other, I think people are afraid of it. I really do. I think people are afraid of their own company. I think they're afraid of what surfaces. I think they're afraid of thinking of things that are maybe hurtful, or the meaning of their lives, or whether they're happy or not. And therefore, if you keep busy, you don't have the chance to think about anything. How do you ever process? How do you ever grow? So, like with a lot of the things we talk about, so important. Follow Jesus Christ if you believe him. He went out into the desert. Most great spiritual and even people of influence, high status, have had a lot of time on their own. So maybe give that some thought. Start with a day. Get out your mind. Get out your phone. Then a weekend, and maybe then go on holiday on your own. It's not about forcing being alone. It's not about loneliness and not being lonely. It's about the ability to manage your mental chatter. It's about the comfort that you will actually know that you can meet new people, and the skills to develop that, which a lot of people don't realise is part of the process of travelling on your own, is that you ultimately become very good at talking to new people. And therefore you're never really on your own. You know, how many people surround themselves with constantly the same people every weekend who don't stimulate them, who don't really get on with them, but they do it because they're in the same town and it's convenient, and there's nothing growth focused about a lot of those friendships. It's the same old gossip, the same old natter, the same old conversations about blah 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 blah, and you're just doing it because you don't want to be brave enough to meet new people. You don't want to get yourself out of your comfort zone, so you just end up having the same conversations, and therefore your mindset is you're never going to grow from those same people. You know, so the next time someone says, what are we doing at the weekend? Why don't you say no and organise something with someone new? Why don't you start turning down? You're not going to let anyone down by turning down some social invitations. Explore the idea of being on your own to meet new people, to expand your horizons, to learn new things. It's not about being on your own to be lonely for the sake of it. There's so many positive benefits. And, you know, even if you're in a happy relationship, there are a few of you out there, apparently, although I don't really believe it, but maybe I'm just cynical. Even if you're in a good relationship, and I'm joking about the previous statement, it's still important for both of you to find that time. It really is. I don't think, you know, you can go apart to come back together stronger. And I just don't understand codependency. I don't understand people who are living in each other's pockets, who end each other's sentences, who ultimately become so afraid of doing something without each other. And I think it gets worse as you get older. You've got to maintain independence, not just of not being with someone all the time, but having, men are particularly bad at it, having new friends and a strong social circle. Maintain that effort and don't be afraid to go to new things. I say all this because it's highly stimulating, and I was sitting there this morning. I'm tired. I've had 10 hours sleep in 3 days. I've just come back from Malaysia. I'm feeling a bit disorientated, and you're in a slump, right? For no reason at all, apart from it's just life. And now I feel much better. I've collected my thoughts. I feel full of gratitude. I'm optimistic about this afternoon, tomorrow. I've rebalanced my focus on a few things. And I'm just, I'm calm and peaceful. Whereas this morning I was winding myself up with stuff that I had to do. Peace. When the student is ready, the master will appear.